brief update regarding the coronavirus situation in Israel. Starting on Sunday, Israel is trying to get step by step out of the lockdown situation, out of the second lockdown situation. The first most important step is going to be open the kindergartens, the ganim in Hebrew, so that little children can go to the kindergarten again and not bothering their parents at home, so to speak. So this is the most important step. I don't know about schools yet. I read something that schools are going to be open in certain areas only. And everything seems to be, the whole exit seems to be only in certain areas. Because in Haredi areas, the virus is still spreading. I think you are used to it from New York especially, and from other places. I've read that Satmar Williamsburg doesn't really keep the corona rules. I don't know if this is true, but this is what we hear in Israel. Also in Australia, by the way. And here we had a problem that the Belzer Rebbe went, I think it was to Ashdod. Was it yesterday or the day before? And hundreds, if not thousands, Hasidim were gathering around the Rebbe, meaning the coronavirus is happily traveling from one to the next person. So this is also a big problem here in Israel, that Arabs, and especially Arabs, I'm saying especially Arabs and Haredim, do not go according to the health ministry rules. I'm not saying everybody. There are many Arabs who do keep the rules, and there are many Haredim who do keep the rules. But, and there's a big but, Arabs still have their weddings. So do Haredim have their weddings. And with Haredim, it's now on Sukkot. Actually, they shouldn't have had Simchat Beit HaShoeva, but they did their Simchat Beit HaShoeva celebrations. And I saw a short video. It was also broadcasted on the Israeli news that from the Tish of Toldot Aaron, Simchat Beit HaShoeva and Toldot Aaron, and no one wore a mask, including the Rebbe. The Belzer Rebbe even told his Hasidim not to go or not to keep the restrictions of the health ministry. Lasim pas, as we say in Hebrew. You don't give, I have to say it, you don't give a damn, so to speak. This is basically what he meant. And actually quite a few Rebbes think the same way. It doesn't matter if it's in Bnei Brak or in Jerusalem. Who is actually really going according to the rules is the Boyaner Rebbe, Rujin Boyan, and the Karlin Stolin Rebbe. The Karlin Stolin Rebbe, recently he got infected with coronavirus. So I think and I hope that he's okay. I haven't heard anything. Apparently he's 65 years old and his Hasidim were very worried. But I haven't heard anything, so he's probably in quarantine or maybe out of quarantine already. And I think it seems like he's fine because we don't hear anything. The Belzer Rebbe, on the other hand, he is sick anyway for many, many years. He's been sick. He has a stomach problem, I think. And he is like in danger if he gets infected. So, you know, he may end up in hospital or whatever. But some people think they are, I don't know. They're just, it doesn't apply to them. So whatever. So Israel, anyway, Israel is exiting step by step the lockdown, but not in Haredi areas. We have a lot of Haredi neighborhoods also here in Jerusalem. And there, as far as I heard, the lockdown has to be kept because infection rate is extremely, extremely high. So, of course, people in those neighborhoods like Mea Shearim, Ramat Shlomo, Ramat Eshkol, Sanhedria, Givat Shaul, of course, they are very upset. and they say it's not fair. But I think my personal opinion is that it is fair, because, when you have people running around with such a high infection rate, also in Bnei Brak, you have a very high infection rate. It's even worse than here in Jerusalem, because people just don't keep anything. Not everybody. There are people who do keep something, but you have always those who think because they are religious, they are not vulnerable to anything. So what can I say? But, it makes me angry in a way, because these people actually cause the lockdown. If everybody went according to the rules, also the secular, it doesn't matter who it is, it would be different. But there are always people who want to have their weddings, who want to have their tishes, want to have their synagogues, Simchat Beit HaShoeva lately, and whatever, and also the Arabs, their weddings. So not no one, but many people don't really care. And this is why we are in this trouble. Look at Australia. I just heard that Australia doesn't have many infected people. It could be much better here if people kept the rules, but what can I say? So on Sunday, life is a little going back to normal. At the moment, it's like this in Jerusalem. I can only talk about Jerusalem. We have buses and we have the tram, but only from 5 o'clock in the morning until 8 o'clock in the evening. So maybe it's going to change next week back to 10 o'clock or back to midnight as usual. Who knows? But otherwise, I haven't felt restricted or anything by all these rules, because we are allowed to go shopping. We can go to hospitals to see the doctor, and we can basically do everything. Machane Yehuda market here in Jerusalem was open. Half of the shops actually were closed, which was very pitiful. It was very sad to see that half of the shops were closed, but I was there on Wednesday after I'd been to my healthcare, to my Kupat Cholim, and I did the regular shopping. There was no lack of anything. My butcher always says there is a lack of chickens or something. I don't know if this is really true. I haven't heard anything official. Maybe it's only him who doesn't get too many chickens. I don't know. But otherwise, life was pretty normal during the lockdown. I can't complain. Of course, people complain that they couldn't really travel around the country, and synagogues are very limited. By the way, the Great Synagogue here in Jerusalem is still closed. So people, or a minyan, or people, I don't know how many people, more than a minyan, they gather in front of the Great Synagogue, and they set up separate chairs, keeping the distance, and so they pray outside. Many minyanim all over town pray outside. So I don't think this is such a problem. I mean, it's still hot outside, but in front of the Great Synagogue, they set up a kind of shield against the sun. They set up a kind of shield against the sun, and so you're protected from the sun. And I don't know. I think if everybody just kept rules or everything, we would get out very fast. But there are always people who don't. I can understand people are fed up. I'm also fed up. Everybody's fed up with COVID-19. You are fed up. I'm fed up. Everybody's fed up. And yeah, but we will see next week, next Sunday. So it's going to be easier. In case you are interested in coming to Israel as tourists, I can tell you, you're still not allowed to enter Israel. You cannot come here as tourists. Only Israelis with Israeli citizenship are allowed to enter Israel. Tourists, I don't think this is going to happen this year, maybe next year. But for some time, I don't see any tourists coming here who would be allowed to enter the country. So this is it. I think this is it. I don't know anything else. if you have any questions, anything regarding the lockdown, the exit, whatever, you can either go to my blog. You find the information, the URL in this box underneath the video, or you can just leave a comment. Okay, so thank you very much. By the way, Parshat Bereshit tomorrow, and Shabbat Shalom.